With FNAF Security Breach fast approaching, we figured we'd try to find as much information as we could before the game's ultimate release, and honestly, I ended up finding some very interesting things, and that's why you clicked on this video. You know the list, you know me, let's do it. In at 10, Helpy. Yes, Helpy is actually in the Security Breach trailer, and I'm not kidding. I mean, like, the animatronic themselves wasn't there, but Happy's face was. During the shot of the kitchen in the very first trailer, the introduction of the Moonman animatronic, we were too distracted to see Helpy's face on a barrel to the right of the screen. The barrel that has the text like torque toil, which I mean like it's probably just some form of oil, but I mean like I don't know like what the name is, but he's there and he's a small character, okay? It's like there's like some fraction on it, maybe with some numbers, maybe percentage of oil, something like that, okay? Helpy's face though is still plastered on the side, and this will probably be his only appearance, unfortunately. I mean, I want to see him jumping into like the giant ball pit so that he doesn't get hurt again, although you'd probably miss knowing him. But this also confirms that the game has to take place at least after FNAF 6, which kind of ruins my taking place in 2021 theory, but 8 and 9, more Foxies. During the first gameplay trailer from the February State of Play event from PlayStation, we got our first look at how the game would actually play. However, after many rewatches, I just swear the trailer on PlayStation's channel has like 14.6 million views, and I think 14 million of them are from me. However, I noticed on like the 13th millionth watch that when Vanessa's walking past the player and we're like hiding in like the behind the curtains or whatever, there is an interesting scene in the background. This appears to be a reference to the Pirate Ride minigame from FNAF VR's DLC, since there's a pirate ship with what looks to be Captain Foxy. However, along with what I think is Captain Foxy, you can also see another character who's like swinging on a rope as if they're boarding them Pirates of the Caribbean style. Now, I don't know if this is like maybe Funtime Foxy or maybe even Lolbit, but it is certainly not the normal Foxy that we all know and love. So, who is this character? Well, I mean, we're gonna find out in the game, but it's certainly interesting, and it does confirm that this also takes place after FNAF VR, which again, ruins the 2021 theory, so damn. In a gameplay. If you watched the second State of Play trailer for Security Breach, you may not notice this. However, on the PlayStation version of the trailer, the one uploaded to the PlayStation YouTube channel, during the first few seconds after Vanny appears on screen when we first see Chica walking by, the bottom of the screen tells us that the footage in this trailer is a mixture of gameplay and in-game cinematics, meaning that everything in this trailer is supposed to appear in-game at some point. So, this means that Monty jumping down from that swinging thing and Chica attacking us but then getting smashed is confirmed to be in the game. Hopefully. This also interestingly confirms that Vanny's little skip down the hall and then subsequent her coming out of the darkness seems to be in the game as well, which begs the question when, since that last, I guess it would seem like a jump scare doesn't really seem all that scary at all. It just seems like she's genuinely wanting us to be quiet, even if her eyes are glowing red. So why is this the case? Does she turn good and try to help us? I mean, there's only one way to find out. Steel will send us a copy. And it's 7, recharge. It appears that we'll have to be recharging most of our devices on a regular basis from the looks of things, with the station at which the flashlight recharges in the trailer, you know, before Chica gets us, and the battery level that we can see on Freddy's UI while piloting him. However, I also noticed that the flashlight recharging station looks an awful lot like the flash we used to stun Roxanne on later in that same trailer. It's the exact same design, which makes me think that maybe we can use these various charging stations as charging stations, or take them off the wall and you have like a few use stun gun that we can keep with us, which is certainly an interesting way to add choice to the game. And I'm sure both options have their pros and cons. Get out the yellow legal pad, ladies and gents, because it's time for a pros and cons list. Everyone should be cheering. Why aren't you excited? Yeah, there we go. And at 6, swinging error. I mentioned before how the appearance of Monty when he jumps off the swinging thing in the ceiling is supposed to be in the game. However, something I find interesting about that scene is that when he's actually swinging, it shouldn't physically be possible. Like, I get it, it's a game and we need to suspend our disbelief, but this game is releasing on the next generation of consoles. So what you're telling me is like, I can see Peter Parker running around his room in the reflection of his toaster, but you can't fix a pendulum swinging through what should be solid concrete on your ceiling? Like, for a game that's hard set on its details and lore and little hints, you figured they'd pay attention to something like that. Like, there's not even a rail system or something that would realistically even let it be moving forward, let alone side to side. It's just like it's clipping through the roof. Or I guess maybe that's the point, and this entire game is a dream. That actually kind of makes sense. I don't want to deal with that though. I mean, it's probably not the case. But yeah, this is what happens, Scott. When you make all these tiny details, when you end up forgetting something, we end up thinking that it's a clue. So way to go. Can't wait to see the Reddit post about this one. Halfway through in at number 5, Weird Glitch. During this same trailer, the second State of Play trailer, we get character introductions for the 4 main animatronics, Chica, Roxy, Monty, and Freddy. However, Freddy's is particularly odd. First, he's the only original character introduced with his proper name, Freddy Fazbear, unlike how Chica was introduced as Glamrock Chica, which you may just think is because she doesn't really have a last name. However, neither do Roxanne or Monty. They just have their animals. So like, why, if they want to specify Chica as a Glamrock version, did they not do the same thing with Freddy? Secondly, after Freddy's title card, we get a zoom in of the character while he's glitching out, again setting him apart from the rest. And finally, I don't know how I didn't notice this before, but when he falls down and seemingly crashes with his integrity level seemingly falling dangerously low, he's falling down on the stage that he's on for the trailer, not any stage where there's actually like kids in front of him. So he's not in the Mega Pizzaplex, which means that this doesn't take place in the game. It happens during that scene, as you can see from the brief glimpse we have of him falling. If these are supposed to be scenes from the game, or at least cinematics, where is this playing if it's not actually happening? Like, it would have to be like on a TV or something, I guess, but like, where is that TV and why is he falling down if it's like just a thing for the kids? And at 4, Secret Cameo. Okay, we already know what Gregory looks like, but we have yet to actually see him in game, right? Since the game is seemingly first person only. Wrong! Well, kind of. Since thanks to the security cameras, we actually get a very quick glimpse at Gregory's back during the scene where Monty is bashing on the security room door. At 1 minute and 7 seconds in the second gameplay trailer, we can see Gregory's shirt, shorts, and right leg in the room while he checks the security camera to see if Monty's out there. Although I feel like you would know, considering how he's bashing on the door that's right next to you. We actually only get a second of this, like literally 1 second of this scene before the camera changes and we lose Gregory. However, as we can see from the mini-map in the bottom right, it also appears that we'll only be able to access the cameras that were around unless we end up maybe using the security room. However, from the first trailer, we can actually assume that the security room doesn't have access to the cameras. I'm guessing because they're all probably cut off by Vanny since, you know, they're all fuzzy. And at 3, multiple paths. Now this is an interesting idea to me, since from the get-go I figured that much like FNAF VR and Sister Location, that this would be a more story-driven game. However, based on their previous trailer, we seem to have a choice for how to play it. Who we currently believe is Glamrock Freddy tells us that the doors will reopen at 6 AM, a familiar time to fans of the original games, since they had us surviving until the end of our shift at 6 AM. Quote from Glamrock Freddy, "You should be able to escape when the security doors reopen at 6 AM. Until then, keep moving and try not to draw attention to yourself. If there is another way out, I will help you find it." But then we see plenty of different areas like downstairs and like secret tunnels and more. If we're only trying to survive until 6, why would we hide down there and not just stay in the security room like when Monty was banging on the door? This building seemingly doesn't have limited power. This leads me to believe that there will be multiple ways to play. Hide and seek until 6 AM, which gives us one ending, and escaping, which will give us another and probably the canon ending. But ultimately, in at number 2, Secret Purple. At this point, we all know that the release date for the game is going to be December 16, 2021, or if you want to go by the number of the dates, 16/12/21, because the day comes before the month because that's how everywhere in the world other than the States does it. But after going through the random flashing numbers and checking hexadecimal codes for some of them after the Freddy and Friends on Tour videos, I figured I'd check the hexadecimal for the actual release date. So opening up Photoshop, I put in the hex code 16/12/21, and it gives us what looks like black until you look at the actual color spectrum and see that it's not black, but instead a very, very dark purple. The same shade of purple that William Afton was depicted as during FNAF 2 and 3, or at least very similar to it. And I just think that's interesting, like since if they had released it when they originally wanted to, probably around sometime mid-2020, that color would have instead been blue, not purple. Even if they had released it in January of 2022, it would have been blue. I mean, it's probably not intentional, but it's certainly an interesting coincidence. And finally, in at number 1, logical inconsistency. Now, I hinted at this earlier, however, there seems to be a lot of conflicting data and points in the FNAF series as a whole, yes, but also in the trailers. Like how in the trailer, Vanny seemingly tells us to come home and that it won't happen again, which is a whole other can of worms, because that suggests that Vanny is Greg's mother, but more on that another time. That line suggests that Gregory ran away to the Pizzaplex, but in recent trailers we learn that he actually gets trapped in there accidentally. And in the RTX trailer we hear Vanny say, "Gregory, it's getting late, let's get you home and put you to bed." But like I said, we know he's there late as an accident, so what's the deal here? And even in the first gameplay trailer we hear Vanessa say that she can get us out of this place, but we learn from Freddy that the doors don't open until 6. She also says we won't want to be here until 6 AM, but that's seemingly the only time we can get out of the doors. So is this hinting at the 12 AM to 6 AM classic gameplay leading to the bad ending? Perhaps. So why are the trailers contradicting themselves before the game is even released yet? No idea. Cause it's FNAF, honestly. That's a better explanation. There we have it, friends, the top 10 things you missed in the FNAF Security Breach trailers. What did you miss, and do you have anything I didn't cover in this list that you noticed? Please, make sure you let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been and shall remain Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.